high-stakes $350,000 professional horse race. The two absolute fastest, most powerful athletes on the track are practically guaranteed to lose.
I mean, it sounds totally counterintuitive, right? Like, why wouldn't the fastest horse win?
Exactly, but it's not because they aren't good enough. It's because they are, well, entirely too similar to each other.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that is really the central reality of handicapping at the highest levels of the sport. We're not just, looking at a static list to see who can run the fastest.
Right.
We are looking at this living, breathing physics problem. It's a race where the actual geometry on the track dictates the winner.
So if you're listening to this and thinking, I don't know the first thing about horse racing, stick with us. Because what we're really talking about today is predicting chaos.
Oh, absolutely. That's the perfect way to phrase it.
Yeah. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack a professional handicapping report for a major upcoming event. And we have a really fascinating stack of sources in front of us to do this.
Right, starting with the Brisnet past performances.
Yeah. And if you've never seen one of these, it's a horse's historical racing record. But it looks like a dense financial spreadsheet.
Oh, it really does. It's just walls of raw data.
Oh.
You've got speed figures, pace ratings, fractional times, all of that.
Just numbers everywhere. And our second source is the Racing Form report, which takes all that raw historical data and actually turns it into a strategic, tactical analysis for betting.
Right, it kind of translates the spreadsheet.
Exactly. So we're going to analyze this race, look at how the professionals build their picks, and, have some fun figuring out how to find a winning edge.
And the setting for this puzzle is just phenomenal. We are heading to Keeneland Racecourse for race 8 on the card, which is the Bewitch Stakes.
The Bewitch Stakes. Okay, set the scene for us.
Well, it's a Grade 3 event. And just to put that in context, Grade 1 is your Kentucky Derby level. So Grade 3 is still the absolute upper echelon of the sport. You're dealing with elite professional stables.
And a serious amount of money on the line, too, right?
Oh, yeah. It has a $350,000 purse. But the really defining feature here is the physical challenge. It's a grueling 1.5-mile race on the turf.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's restricted to fillies and mares who are 4 years old and upward.
1.5 miles on the grass. Because most American horse races you see on television are dirt sprints, right? Like maybe 3/4 of a mile long.
Exactly, they're over in a flash. This is a marathon.
To me, analyzing a marathon race like this feels a lot like analyzing a complex game of chess. Except, the pieces are moving at 40 miles per hour.
That's a great analogy.
Because on paper, the absolute strongest athlete doesn't always win if they get trapped in a bad position. You can have the queen, but if she's boxed in by pawns, she's essentially useless.
That is the perfect framework for the Bewitch Stakes. And to truly understand the board for this chess match, we first have to look at the pieces that, immediately jump off the page.
The obvious favorites.
Right. If you're just skimming that Brisnet data we mentioned, there are two horses that absolutely dwarf the rest of the field, and that's Mrs. Astor and Just Basking.
Wait, if I'm looking at a spreadsheet of 12 different horses, how on earth do these two manage to just leap off the page? Like, what makes them the obvious titans here?
It really comes down to how the data is synthesized, specifically through this proprietary metric in the Brisnet system called prime power.
Prime power. Sounds like a superhero thing.
It kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
Prime power is fascinating because it doesn't just look at one single thing. It's this massive algorithm that takes all the underlying variables, the raw speed, the class of competition they've faced, their early pace.
So it blends it all together.
Exactly. It boils all of that down into one single number to tell you the sheer overall quality of the animal. And Mrs. Astor boasts the highest prime power rating in the entire field at an imposing 161.0.
A 161.0. So she is statistically just towering over the rest of the page.
She is. And then right behind her, you have Just Basking. She brings a massive prime power of 149.4.
Okay, so another huge number.
Right. But what really makes Just Basking terrifying on paper is her last race. She comes into this event after a very close near miss in the Orchid Stakes, which is another top-tier Grade 3 race.
Oh, wow.
And in that race, she posted a speed figure of 100.
Okay, let's pause right there so we don't lose anyone. A speed figure of 100, what does that actually mean in the real world?
Good question. So a speed figure is a number assigned to a horse's performance that accounts for the final time of the race, but also the specific condition of the track that day.
Like if it was muddy or dry or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It standardizes the time. And hitting triple digits 100 is the benchmark of elite performance. It proves she has just a massive engine.
Got it.
Both of these mares, Mrs. Astor and Just Basking, have the exact pedigree and the late-stage stamina that typically controls these longer mile-and-a-half turf roads.
Hang on a second. You just said they have the absolute best stats, the highest class, and the best speed.
Yeah, I did.
So why wouldn't I just, bet my mortgage on them right now? Why are we even having this conversation if the data already tells us who the best horses are?
Because being the best horse is not the same as being the horse best suited for the specific dynamics of this particular race.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Answering your question requires us to step away from the raw data and look at the tactical insight of the Racing Form report. The report identifies this fatal, unavoidable catch.
Which is?
Mrs. Astor and Just Basking both want to run the exact same race.
I'm not sure I follow. I mean, they both want to run around the oval and cross the finish line first. That's the goal for all 12 horses, right?
True, but it's about the mechanics of how they get to the finish line. Both of these horses are classified in the Brisnet data as deep closers.
Deep closers, okay.
They have what's called an S-run style, which stands for sustained or late speed. This means their entire strategy, their biological comfort zone, is to drop way back to the rear of the pack early on.
So they just chill in the back.
Basically. They let the other horses do the hard work of fighting the wind and setting the early pace. Then, they rely on finding wide open space to make one explosive, uninterrupted run at the very end of the race.
So they conserve their energy for the final sprint. That actually sounds like a really smart strategy for a marathon.
It is, until it isn't.
Yeah.
The report introduces a really brilliant concept here called the anchor conflict.
The anchor conflict.
Yeah. Because both of these powerhouse closers are anchored to the back of the pack, relying on that late surge, they're both going to try to make their massive race-winning move at the exact same time.
Oh, I see the geometry problem now.
Right. And in a 1.5-mile race at Keeneland, that critical moment happens right as they're sweeping around the final far turn.
So they are both going to try and occupy the exact same physical space on the track at the exact same moment?
Exactly. They dilute each other's advantage entirely. The report points out that when multiple closers need the same window to accelerate, the race doesn't flow. It fractures.
It fractures. Wow.
Instead of a beautiful, clean stretch run where the fastest horse just glides by on the outside, the lanes are going to stack up. Momentum will be interrupted.
So they get in each other's way.
Yeah, these top closers are going to run up behind other tiring horses, hesitate, shift lanes, and inevitably bump into each other.
So it's kind of like if you have two massive tractor trailers on a 2-lane highway.
Oh, I like this.
And they both decide they need to pass a slower car at the exact same time. Nobody actually gets through, and they just end up blocking the whole road for each other.
That is the perfect visualization. And in horse racing, momentum is everything. A 1,200-pound animal cannot just hit the brakes, swerve to a new lane, and instantly get back up to 40 miles per hour.
Right. It takes a lot of energy to get that mass moving again.
It takes time to build that speed back up. If they hesitate on that far turn because they are in each other's way, the race is practically over for them. That is the fracture point.
Okay, so if the back of the pack is going to be this high-speed traffic jam of heavy favorites blocking each other, we really need to figure out where everyone else is running.
We do.
Who is setting the board for this chess match early on?
Well, the report gives us a very clear tactical map of the early pace. In a marathon race like this, the early speed is usually a bit relaxed, but someone still has to take the lead.
Right, someone has to be the vanguard.
Exactly. Golden Sunshine is the horse projected to show intent early. She has a P3 run style, meaning she is a pace setter. She will likely be out front, pushing the pace and establishing the initial shape of the field.
So Golden Sunshine is up front. What is happening directly behind her, like in the middle of the pack?
Sitting comfortably just off Golden Sunshine's flank, you are going to have horses like Venencia. Venencia is a fascinating piece of this puzzle because her data shows an EP4-style early presser.
Meaning what, exactly?
That gives her incredible tactical flexibility. She doesn't need to be in the absolute lead, burning all her energy against the wind, but she won't drop back into the danger zone with the anchors either.
Makes sense.
Alongside her, you will find Speed Shopper, another horse perfectly content to sit in the middle of the field and just watch the race develop.
Okay, let's fast forward the tape to that critical far turn. I'm trying to visualize the board here. We have Golden Sunshine getting tired up front because she's been doing all the heavy lifting.
Yep.
We have our two tractor trailers, Mrs. Astor and Just Basking, playing bumper cars in the back, trying to start their move but failing. What happens to the physical shape of the race at that exact moment?
The Racing Form report calls this moment the compression. As the front runners hit a wall of exhaustion and start backing up through the field.
Like visually moving backward because they're slowing down?
Exactly. And at the same time, the deep closers start surging forward from the rear, so the entire field compresses into a very tight cluster.
The physical space on the track literally shrinks.
It does. The lanes tighten. The air gets taken out of the room.
Okay, if the front runner is absolutely exhausted and the powerful closers are tangling each other up in the back, who actually wins? Like, where is the silver lining in all of this structural chaos?
Well, the horse who benefits the most is the one who sits just outside the chaos. And according to the Professional Handicappers report, that leads directly to their top pick for the entire race.
Which is?
Speed Chopper.
Speed Chopper. We mentioned her sitting in the mid-pack earlier. Give me the data to back this up, because she wasn't one of the titans we talked about at the top of the show.
She might not have the big name recognition of Mrs. Astor, but her Brisnet stats are actually lethal for this specific setup.
Okay, lay them on me.
First of all, Speed Chopper actually has the highest last race speed rating in the entire field. She just threw down a 101 speed figure.
Wait, really? A 101. So she's got that triple-digit elite speed, too.
She does. She holds the best turf speed overall among today's starters. And while Mrs. Astor has the top prime power, Speed Chopper is sitting right there as the second highest at 155.4.
Okay, so she's got the raw numbers.
Definitely. Plus, she gets John Velazquez in the saddle, who is, one of the most experienced and tactical jockeys in the history of the sport.
Those are serious credentials. But, as we just established, stats alone don't win the race. Why does she fit the specific geometry of this fractured race?
It all comes back to her tactical profile. The report classifies Speed Chopper as a satellite runner.
A satellite runner.
Yeah, she is a presser. She has that P5 run style. This means she isn't committed so early that she's going to get exhausted fighting Golden Sunshine for the lead.
Right.
But critically, she isn't buried so far back that she gets caught in the anchor conflict with the tractor trailers. She just orbits the chaos.
Ah, so she orbits. That makes sense.
She is perfectly positioned in that mid-pack sweet spot to strike at the exact moment the closers behind her are hesitating.
She's like that clever surfer who hangs just off to the side, reading the water, and catches the absolute perfect wave while everyone else is still fighting for position in the whitewash.
That is a brilliant way to think about it. The first run is everything in horse racing.
Right.
While the heavy favorites are looking for a path and bumping into each other, Speed Chopper will already be in top gear, claiming the open lane left by the tiring early speed. It is a calculated structural advantage.
I love that. So, with the race mapped out and our top pick secured in Speed Chopper, it is time to translate this theory into action. Let's look at how a professional actually structures their bets for a race like this.
Let's do it.
Because walking up to a betting window and just saying, I like horse number 9, is not how you make real money. There is a whole architecture to building the ticket, isn't there?
There really is. The Racing Form report doesn't just hand you a winner. It gives you a blueprint for maximizing your value based on the exact tactical map we just discussed.
Okay, walk us through it.
Let's start with the exacta structure. For you listening, an exacta means you have to pick the first and second place finishers in the exact order.
Right.
The report suggests playing Speed Chopper on top.
Meaning Speed Chopper absolutely has to win.
Yes, Speed Chopper for the win. And underneath her, for second place, you use a spread of 3 specific horses: Literate, Venencia, and Mrs. Astor.
Okay, I understand Venencia. We talked about her tactical flexibility early on. And I understand Mrs. Astor, even with the traffic jam, she has so much raw class she could still bully her way into second place.
Exactly.
But break down Literate for me. Why is she the missing piece of this exacta puzzle?
Literate is what handicappers call a highly reliable piece to use underneath. If you look at her data, she has a very consistent late presence.
So she's always finishing strong.
Yeah, she doesn't often win at this grade, but she always shows up in the final furlong, which is the last eighth of a mile of the race.
Got it.
Crucially, though, the report highlights her human connections. She is trained by Brad Cox, who has an incredibly high 39% win percentage recently.
Wow, 39% is huge.
It is. And she has Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard, who is widely considered the top jockey in the country.
Let me jump in there. Why does the trainer and the jockey matter so much if we are ultimately betting on the horse's speed?
Because when a race devolves into a traffic jam, you aren't just relying on the horse's physical engine anymore.
Right.
You need a jockey with the split-second reflexes of a fighter pilot to navigate the chaos, find the tiny gaps between horses, and salvage a good finish. Ortiz is exactly that kind of pilot.
So it's about navigating the fracture.
Exactly. When a race collapses slightly, like we expect this one to, horses with elite pilots, like Literate, pick up the pieces and grab second place.
That makes a ton of sense. So
Yeah.
that's the exacta, speed shopper over Literate, Venencia, and Mrs. Astor. But what if we want to, swing for the fences? Let's talk about the trifecta structure.
Okay, the trifecta. That is picking the first, second, and third place horses in perfect order.
Right. How does the professional report build this ticket?
The trifecta takes the logic of the exacta and expands it to account for the true chaos of the fracture point. You still key Speed Shopper on top for the win.
Okay, speed shopper wins.
In the second position, you use that same group. Literate, Venencia, Mrs. Astor. But you also add just Basking.
The other tractor trailer.
Yes. Because if just Basking gets lucky and finds a clean lane on the turn, her 100 speed rating is just too dangerous to leave off the ticket for second.
Got it. And what about the third place spot? Who are we picking there?
For third place, the report suggests hitting the all button. You literally play the entire field.
Wait, all of them.
All of them.
Let me visualize making this bet. You walk up to the terminal and you punch in speed shopper for first, 4 specific horses for second, and literally anyone for third.
That's the bet.
Let me ask you this. Is pushing the all button purely about hedging our bets because we are scared of being wrong? Or is this a calculated attack on the actual geometry of the race we just mapped out?
It is absolutely a calculated attack on the geometry. Think back to the fracture point we discussed.
Right, the traffic jam.
When the field compresses and the heavy favorites get tangled up, the resulting chaos is entirely unpredictable for the minor placings.
Ah, I see.
Horses that have absolutely no business being in the top 3 will suddenly inherit third place
Yeah.
simply because the superior horses behind them lost all their momentum.
So it's an architectural decision. You're casting a wide net.
Yes. By putting all in the third spot, we aren't just guessing lazily. We are actively betting on the fact that the fracture will create a weird, chaotic result at the bottom of the ticket.
Right.
Now, hitting the all button does cost a bit more money up front because you are covering more combinations. But the mathematical leverage is massive.
How so?
If a massive long shot, say a horse with 50-to-1 odds, stumbles into third place because the favorites crashed into each other, the payout on that trifecta skyrockets.
That is fascinating. It takes the game from just blindly picking a name out of a hat or just betting the horse with the highest speed rating and turns it into structural engineering.
It really does.
You are building a mathematical net to catch the exact type of chaos you predicted on the track.
That is the ultimate thrill of professional handicapping. It is synthesizing the raw data from the past performances with a vivid understanding of how pace, space, and human decision-making interact in real time.
Well, I think we have thoroughly cracked this puzzle. We started with a dense wall of numbers, found the 2 massive tractor trailers, identified the exact spot on the far turn where they're going to block each other.
And found our clever surfer.
Exactly. We found Speed Shopper waiting in the mid-pack to catch the wave perfectly.
It is a masterful piece of analysis from the Racing Form Report. And it really reminds you that the most fun part of analyzing any sport isn't just looking at who is statically the best.
Right. The highest number doesn't just automatically win.
No, it's about predicting how the dynamic flow of the event will unfold once the gates open.
I completely agree. And I want to leave you, our listener, with a final profound thought straight from the Racing Form Report.
Oh, this is a great line.
It really is. It's something you can mull over the next time you watch this race, or honestly, the next time you watch any high-level sport.
Yeah.
The report concludes with this. This is the kind of race where bettors get pulled into who is best, but the outcome hinges on who is free. When multiple closers need the same path, the race belongs to the one who never needed it.
Who is free. That is just a brilliant way to look at competition in general.
It really is. So, armed with this insider knowledge, go tune into the Bewitch Stakes, watch that far turn. Look for the tractor trailers, look for the surfer, and enjoy the absolute thrill of the race. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.